Hello again. I'm back with the Anet ET4 printer. On my last video, so I had a few reactions, also a few questions. So I decided to come back to it and explain you better and go in more depth as to why I think this might not be the best beginner's printer. First question was, could you please use a better angle because you're explaining stuff that is outside the field of view. Last time I came in unprepared and I just grabbed my video camera and shot it in one take and didn't look back at it. After I uploaded it to YouTube, I thought, well, I covered it all and it was kind of clear to me, but then in hindsight, yeah, I could have done a better job at that. So, and this time I'm using my phone so I can get a much clearer view from nearby. And the other one was, well, maybe since you bought it off AliExpress, the printer that you bought is not a genuine product. Maybe it's fake. And that having to do with the fact that there are two type of Anet ET4 printers. So I actually contacted Anet themselves over their Facebook and also their own website through their customer service care. Both confirmed, yes, the seller is an official seller and the product is the genuine product. So there are two types of Anet ET4 printers. That question they, by the way, did not answer. I don't know why, but I thought it was kind of suspicious because all the positive reviewers are reviewing a different type ET4 Anet printer, which seems to be a better one. I can also explain what to look for, one being the color. If there's a brand called Labists, which sells an exact printer like this, the only difference is the metal parts here aren't red but are green, and it's branded Labist. Otherwise, exactly the same printer. The second one would be the point that I made in my previous video, was the clamp on the this time on the left here on the gantry. On this type, it's kind of triangular shape, the same as with the Labist one. On the other Anet ET4 printers I saw, they were kind of butterfly shaped, and they had on the extruder part, right next to the extruder, was an end level switch. This one doesn't have it there. It has it on the gantry here and on the end of the bed. And the stepper motors. Last time I said this one is rather noisy, and the ones that I saw a review on had different stepper motors. They had NEMA 17 stepper motors, and these are not. So I can confirm that these are different stepper motors. And that will bring me to quality issues as well. If you look at the hot end part and the cable that connects it to the extruder, the way you're supposed to do this is assemble all the different plugs and then tie this onto through the hole here with a rib tie. Why not go for a single connection like they did with the ribbon cable that connects it to the main board? Which is also a poor design choice, and you can actually see it happening. The ribbon cable is fine, but then it just uses tape on top, and you can already see it's bending, and that'll cause wear and tear. So that's a poor design choice. If you're using plastic, why not encase the cable into the plastic and make it sturdier and stronger and less prone to wear and tear? The same goes for here. Why not use a single plate to cover this up, and then having the user connected with one cable, one plug. Again, that's a poor design choice. Also, the way you adjust the extruder belt, you'll have to unscrew the whole stepper motor on the from the other side, pull it away from the gantry to tighten the hot end belt. Now I will turn it around, and hopefully I'll get a good angle. Yep, that seems to be fine. No, there's a few things I forgot to mention here. If you would look at the hot belt and the cable that connects it to the mainboard, you can see that the cable catches on to the switch, the end level switch. Also, this cable you can already see is starting to wear and tear, and I haven't even used this printer based on account of the fact that the SD card was dysfunctional. This cable keeps going that way, so you have to find a way. Other people have the same problem, that it'll, well, stay like this. Also, the cable doesn't have enough give. It's just a very sturdy cable, but it should be not as tight. Also, the way it is connected to the hotbed, there's no plug. It's just screwed on to this plastic bit which clamps onto the cable, and the ends are hot soldered to the hotbed. So in case the cable does have wear and tear, it should have a plug. Now, I've seen a few pictures on it, so I guess the reason they did not choose the plug is that the plug started to melt away as the bed got hot. So maybe that's it, or maybe a plug will, during the process, might come loose. I don't see why you would not have a sturdier plug then, but okay. But this is just a poor design choice. If you should have to replace just the cable and you don't want to tinker, and then again, I'm stressing the fact that they're selling this as a beginner's printer. If you have to replace the whole, just the cable, you'll have to unscrew it and desolder it from the mainboard. That is tinkering. That is not beginner's friendly. So I guess most noobs would just buy a whole new hotbed just because they had to replace the cable. So that's this poor design choice. Again, the same with the all the bits here and the cable here, and that's I'll come back to that later. But to me, those are the wrong kind of engineering choices. Right, and then that'll bring me back to a point I made on my previous video as well, which is why I decided to do these videos, and that's the SD card slot. First of all, the component that they used was a really cheap component. Also, the SD card slot is behind the metal plate of the base, and what that means in practice is that every time you insert an SD card, there will be leverage, there will be a downforce on the slot, pulling it like this, because there's nothing holding that in place, because it's behind the metal plate and just soldered onto the mainboard like that. Mine already came defected on arrival. It is right next to the power plug, the connector, right next to the switch. The switch is on a plastic plate which is screwed onto the side. Why not, if you're having this placed right next to here, extend this plastic part and have the same way you the power plug and the switch, have that on a separate piece that will not allow the wear and tear on the SD. And then there's another question. Why use micro SD to begin with? Why not USB? If you're having one of these for your workshop, or maybe you have a print shop and you decide you might want to have a few cheap printers on the side, in that process it's really easy to lose a micro SD card. It's tiny, it's fiddly, the component is cheap. Why? I don't understand the choice. Why not USB? Yeah, okay, I'm done with that. Also, why, for networking purposes, why the ancient USB network connector? I mean, you have to go to an antique shop or a thrift store to find one of those. And now I will turn the bottom. Yes, I did open it up, even though there's a sticker that says warranty void. I did so because the seller requested me to do so. Which brings me to the warranty sticker. It just let go like that. See? And now it did stick to here. It didn't stick to the bottom. Here's the bottom. The warranty sticker didn't stick to that. It just let go. So yeah, warranty void if removed. I didn't remove it. It was already really loose. And I'm gonna turn my camera up, or maybe turn towards the stepper motor, which is not an EMA 17 stepper motor. Now you can see it from nearby. Also, to again answer your question, is this a real official Anet ET4? Yes. ET4 MB with the serial number right next to it, version 1.1. The rebranded 32-bit processor, which has the Anet branding on it. This is the culprit right here. You can see it is not soldered straight onto the motherboard, it's kind of to the left. This is a cheap component. If you're going to use really cheap components, especially on things that are prone to wear and tear, that is a really poor design decision. That is bad engineering, because that means other people will run into the same issue, and I cannot stress this enough. Yes, this has already happened. I am not the only one. So in conclusion, this is not, as advertised, if you ask me, a beginner's printer, for the simple fact that they wanted me to replace the main board. In the end, I got through. I'm gonna send this back and I'm gonna get a full refund. That I will come back to in a third video, because that was a really bad beginner's experience as well. You do not want to have that experience if this is your first 3D printer. So yeah, beginner's friendly. Day one came in with a, well, the motherboard was fine, but just one cheap component which was badly connected to the base. That would have solved the whole problem. They ask you to, they'll say, yeah, we'll send you a new motherboard, you'll just have to replace it. That's not beginner's friendly. And then going back to this part, let me see if that's on camera. Yes, it is. Again, all the separate plugs, and then you might argue, yeah, you can, to avoid wear and tear, You'll just use the rib ties that are that came with it, by the way, and then you can 3D print a house yourself. That's not beginners friendly either. That should have been dealt with. Also, again, the cable and having to figure out a way that it won't get caught onto the cable of the end level switch or behind this corner here. That's tinkering. That's not beginners friendly. Yeah, that being the few issues that I had with the printer.